Well, hello there, everybody. I'm Karen Clymer. I'm with Wholesome Communication, and we're on our page now of the Silver Citizen Believers Brigade. We're wanting to welcome you to a new thing that we're starting. In fact, the page is new. We just started on April the 9th. So we're going to do something today that I think you would be interested in seeing is kneading of bread. Now, I've had to do a makeshift in setting up today, so I hope that it works all right. I don't have a regular studio, and no matter how I switch things, I can't fix it to where you can actually see really good what I want you to see. But I'm going to be kneading my bread today. And you might ask, well, why do you need bread? And that's really a good question. I didn't know why we needed bread, or needed to need bread, but I knew that everybody I knew that made good bread told me they would need their bread. Well, so I did some research on it. Would you like to know kind of what it's about and what happens here? I found out that when you begin to knead bread, that it brings together all of these, the mixture, it begins to adhere instead of being separated. You mix all the parts in, and it begins to, well, you already have, in this case, see, these are sourdough rolls, and so it makes its own yeast, but you get that together, and the more you knead it. So I'm going to start this kneading process so you know what's going on. It's actually going to strengthen this. If I was to fix rolls now, begin to try to make rolls out of this, they would be so, well, they'd be like hockey pucks. You wouldn't be able to eat them, or teething biscuits. So what I'm going to do is knead this bread. I need to do it for 10 minutes. Usually recipes will call for doing it 10 minutes. So I'm going to go over and start my timer, because I don't know this all by myself. So I just go over here to my timer on my microwave. 10 minutes. And so now I'm going to start this kneading process, and I want to have enough flour here on the board that it doesn't stick on the dough, doesn't stick on my hands. So I'm kneading this, and I know what I'm kneading. I'm also getting exercise, but I don't want too much flour in there, because it's going to make a really stiff dough, and it's going to be bread that's going to be so heavy, and you don't want that. You want fluffy bread. Now, you know, I was thinking about this last week when my friend and I, she's my protege. She's wanting to learn to do bread, and she made her first batch and did really well. And we did this together last week on Zoom. This is when the Lord impressed on my heart to do this. And we had to think about how the Lord needs us. K-N-E-A-D, us. You know, He loves us, and He loves to touch us, and with His love and His compassion. And so, and with this kneading, see, as I find out with this bread, it mixes all the ingredients exactly perfectly. And I thought, well, that's what the Lord does. We have all kinds of features in us that the Lord has placed in us, but He wants them to be mixed properly, and He wants us to be able to be well balanced. And I was thinking today, and I was reading, and the scripture's been on my mind in Romans 12 and 15, how rejoice with those that rejoice, and we weep with those that weep. I thought, Lord, you have a balance there for us, and He helps us. And we, just like in a day, we're going to be with people that we can rejoice with them. So that doesn't mean that we shouldn't rejoice because there's somebody else over here sad. But you know, when we come into contact with people, the one person we come in contact with is rejoicing. Maybe they just got a job during this COVID-19 and they're so happy. We rejoice with them. Yes, we do. And so then that's almost like the Lord has been kneading us, and He's helped us that we can be compassionate like Him. And we don't feel guilty because we're rejoicing with one person over here. This person doesn't have a job. Well, we can't rejoice because that person over there doesn't have a job. The person in front of us, that's who Jesus ministered to, the person in front of Him. And He was there taking care of them, giving His love, His compassion, and that's the way He was, and He wants us to do what He did. So when I come across a person that has lost their job and they're suffering, what do I do? Say, oh, well, so-and-so just got a job. Maybe you can go there and get on where they go. No. You might tell them that later, but they're in the throes of despair. So what do? We're going to be like Jesus. We're going to gently knead this person, and we're going to weep with them, and our heart goes out to them, because that's what Jesus would do. We're going to be compassionate with them, and we're going to say that we care about them, and we're going to pray for them. And then you can come up with this idea that the person that you know has gotten a job at a place. Yes, but I want us to understand it's okay that we can rejoice with the person that's rejoicing and not feel guilty because we're rejoicing when someone is over here sad. It's whoever we're with. That's not being a chameleon. That's not being with just whoever you're with, but it's doing what Jesus would do, was being the kind person that he was. Whoever he was with, whatever their need was, he was compassionate and gentle. Also, now I want to talk about maybe you have failed. Everyone had failures. We just, fess up. We've missed it here and there. Sometimes you feel really guilty. And you go to the Lord and you're almost ashamed to go to him, and you thought, I knew better. It maybe wasn't a horrible, vile thing like you robbed a bank or something like that, but maybe it's something maybe you got involved in just all of a sudden and you didn't think it through, and you was with a crowd maybe especially. You feel so bad. So what do? You come to Jesus and you tell him you're so sorry. What does he do? What he does, he begins to gently knead you. And he tells you he knew what you did, he saw you, but he wants there to help you. He is there to get you back in shape again, and he isn't slapping you around. The devil will slap you around, but not the Lord. See this one, I just now split this bread upside down, this dough, and I'm kneading it this way. Sometimes we feel like the Lord turns us this way and that way, and what is he doing? He's trying to get all these air bubbles out. Like in this bread, I want to get all these air bubbles out. You know, this stuff has been growing, and it's been working all through the night. I started this yesterday. I renewed my starter, let's see, at about 9 o'clock. And then here I did the bread, started doing it at about 11. So you want at least 12 hours, they say, normally. I don't claim to be an expert in this, but I've been doing this, it will be 44 years in June, so I have learned some things. But my bread is almost ready. My hands are getting a little tired, but I'm almost ready. That's the way it is. We think sometimes we're pretty tired, and when am I going to ever get straightened out and all? And the Lord, he's not got us in jail. He's just kneading us, and he said, I'm getting all the air bubbles out of you. What I'm getting you ready, that you'll be mixed properly, and yes, you're going to go to work for me. Oh, he looks at it, he pats it, and he gives you a pat there like I do this bread. And you know one thing that's really important in bread making, for those who are interested in that, this bread now, when I've been kneading it for now, let's see, about 7 minutes. Now I'm going to check this bread. And even though I know the truth of this, what is, I can't really actually show you unless I walk over there, and I just may do that. If I punch this bread and it doesn't move, I know my bread has been kneaded enough. So I'm going to have to knead it. So how about I walk over there and I'll show you what happens here. If I punch that bread, do you see how that come back up? It's alive. It's alive. And it's just almost, I'm going to go ahead and knead it the full 10 minutes. But you know what happens as I knead this bread? When you knead bread, it gets stronger. It gets stronger. It's just good. Oh my, look at that. It doesn't all come apart, but it's elastic. It's what I want. This is the consistency that I want. I'm thankful that the Lord keeps working with us until he has us just the right consistency. And then when he releases us, then, well, you know, we have to go. We got to ride. What we can do now, this lump of dough is going to be able to rise now because I've been kneading it. And I've got all these particles blended together. And I've got my exercise while I'm at it. And my Fitbit is going to show me that I've got some more called steps. Well, it's a step, whether it's my hands or my feet. So it counts all the steps. Yay, Fitbit. You're doing a good job. So let me see. Oh my, we've got another about just less than 2 minutes here. And this is getting good. It's getting a little harder to knead. And that's good because it's stronger. It's stronger. It's when I get ready to put this in that bowl over there. And so just now, for those of you who have never baked bread, I'll tell you, I have this on a pastry sheet. It's a lot easier to clean up being on my cabinet. But I have this on a pastry sheet, and you don't want too much flour, but you want enough that your hands stay dry and all. You don't want them sticky and sticking to the bread. So I am just getting closer, and by now I'm watching because my arms are getting tired. But you know what? Let's see, I'm burning up calories. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm burning up calories. My heart rate is up. That is good. It's good exercise. And I'm thinking about the Lord and His goodness and His grace. And you know what? We want to say, Lord, do this and Lord, do that. And He's saying to us, that's what you're there to do. I am gone now. Yes, He will help us, and He sent the Holy Spirit to help us. But you know what? We don't keep telling Him, Lord, you do this and do that. We don't give Him orders. We say, Lord, you have enabled me. You give me the strength and the help. And Lord, I'm going to be like you and do what you did. Because He did say, greater things than these shall you do because I go to my Father. So remember that. All right. I think we're almost there. Yes. Only about 18 seconds. I could go ahead and quit, but why be a quitter? I'm going to win this race. I'm going all the way to the finish line. And when I hear that microwave timer beeping, we're going to all know it because I'm going to yell. Done! It's done. I hear it beeping. All right? I'm going to get this looking really good now. I'm going to have it all smooth and pretty. Isn't that beautiful? I think it is. I love baking this bread. Every week I've been doing this for almost 44 years. Now, I'm going to put lots of flour. I'm just going to cover this with flour. Here, just really good, so it's not going to stick to this pan. For those of you who don't bake, these might be helpful little instructions to you. Now, I've got this all, now my hands got all this flour on them, but that's okay. I'm going to get me some plastic wrap. You want to always cover your bread. I don't know if you came for a baking lesson, but you're getting one. So I'm going to be sure that I cover this, and I use plastic wrap. And I'm going to have this looking all good over here. It's going to be covered because one thing that is vitally important, if you've never had bread rising, you do not want wind to hit it. The slightest breeze will kill yeast. Now, I know my husband never believed that when I told him. And he said, it's old wives' tale. And he truly thought that. And I said, it is not. I said, I don't know, but at that time, I had never seen it in action, what would happen. I said, all I know is all the old timers say, you better keep it covered. And I said, all the recipes say, keep it covered. So I'm going to do it. Well, I'll tell you what happened. You know, guys, they kind of have to see it and do it to make sure about it. Well, him and another fellow was carrying my bread. We was having to go from one place to another. We traveled in full-time child evangelism. And as we was going from one building to another, and I was saying, watch I've got my bread is rising. Watch it, watch it. They just laughed and joked and did just like this. And when they did, the cover came off. And when that wind hit it, it was just like you popped a balloon. I never had to caution my husband anymore. He was very cautious. So, all right. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to let this rise, and I want to have the oven on about 250 will be good. So now at 250 here, let's see. And it's going to take a good while for that to rise. So what I'm going to do is cover it. Now I always like to keep it nice and warm. And I'm going to have it pull back just enough. I don't want to get too hot because if I have too much heat, it will kill the yeast. Now, you know what? That's what the devil likes to get us all, just roast us and kill us. That's what he wants to do. He wants to get us just to sin and do all kinds of things, but no, we're not going to do that. We're going to be yielded to the Lord, and we're going to stay back away from anything that would do us harm. We're going to do what Jesus did. We're going to live like him. Okay, now, maybe it's just me, but I like to have a little more cover, and then I'm very careful about my bread. I watch it all the time. I'll be coming in and I'll be turning that bread around. I want to make sure that it is even. It's getting even temperature. All of it rises good. And I think that completes our little session today. I hope you have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed doing it. You have an excellent rest of the day. You be blessed. And remember, we need God, and God needs us. So I think I might even change this little session that we do every Friday to be Need Me, Lord, Need Me. That's K-N-E-A-D. I'm willing, and when I let him need me, then I will be prepared, better prepared for service for him. God bless you, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.